Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first of the InsurTech Connect Asia virtual conversation series titled Driving Exponential Growth in Insurance Using Digital Marketing, brought to you by InsurTech Connect Asia and ZA Tech. My name is Trisha, and I'm the Director of ITC Asia. In today's webinar, we are very honored to have our sponsor ZA Tech as well as our distinguished speakers. In a short while, I will be introducing Yang, CEO of Southeast Asia market ZA Tech Global. He will be today's moderator and leading you through the next few sessions. During the Q&A, your questions are welcome. Please type in the Ask Staff a Question box on the right-hand side. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Yang, CEO of Southeast Asia market ZA Tech Global, and Xing Tian Shi, Chief Data Scientist, ZhongAn Online PNC, to kick off the presentation.
Thank you, Tricia, for the warm introduction. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, everyone. My name is Yang, and I am the CEO for Southeast Asia market and ZA Tech Global. Before we get into today's topic, I would like to spend a little bit of time to introduce who we are, given that you might not be familiar with the company. Who we are. ZA Tech is a tech company headquartered in Singapore and mission to be the best tech partner for digital transformation for insurance industry. Maybe some of you have heard of our grandparent company, which is ZhongAn Online PNC Insurance. So there are a lot of labels of this company. So this is the first online-only insurance company in China. And established by the biggest internet companies as well as the financial institutions, including Alibaba, Tencent, and Ping An Group, later on also invested by SoftBank. We ranked number one from different dimensions: the number of policies, the number of monthly active users. So imagine that 1 out of 5 policies insured in China is actually come from ZhongAn Online PNC. One thing that amazed me continuously is the determination of combining technology as well as innovation and to bring true values to the end users. I think that is really something that is key important to make sure that the business is sustainable. And then from 2017, which is after 4 years of the establishment of ZhongAn Online, we start to explore overseas market. So from 2017, we start to prepare our digital bank business as well as life insurance business. And later on, we've got a license and become the pioneers of the first several in the market to really disrupt the online financial services. And in 2018, ZA Tech Global was born with SoftBank Aviation Fund and ZA International as the founding shareholders. So our focuses includes core, growth, marketing, and data. And why those are our focuses is because we believe that those are the fundamental elements for digital transformation for insurance industry, according to what we have done in China's market and what we have seen in overseas market as well. And this is actually the 3rd year of us entering into overseas market. And we're very glad to say that we just became a unicorn company in 3 years, thanks to the trust from our clients, partners, and shareholders. A quick overview in terms of some of the numbers. So right now, our tech solutions are hosting more than 300 million policies every year with different partners. And on the platform, we're serving more than 6 million monthly active users, which means those are the users that actually have a policy in our tech solution. Even though that we're still a very young company in the market, however, we have started to work with 25 insurance companies across life, health, and general insurance to help them on the digital transformation end-to-end. Not only we work with insurance companies, but also we work with the top platforms in this region, because what we believe is ecosystem will play a very important role for digital insurance in future. And it's very important for us to co-build an insurance ecosystem together with the top ecosystem platforms, as well as the leading insurers. From day one, we only had a team of 10 people, but right now we have more than 700 employees across 8 offices and markets. And more than 90% of those employees are tech engineers or data scientists. We have the privilege to be a well-capitalized insurtech company. Why this is very important is because insurance or insurtech is actually a long-term play. A lot of times it takes patience to make success together with different partners, especially digital insurance for a lot of markets is still at its early stage. So it's very important for a company like us to co-create products, value propositions together with our partners, instead of rushing into profitabilities and volumes from day one, which we also admit is very important. So that's a very quick intro of who we are and what we do, so that you have more context why that as a tech company we're having this conversation with you today. But also, before we get into today's sharing sessions, which is very important, we also would like to hear from you, because for whoever joined to this meeting, we assume that it's very important of this topic, how to drive exponential growth, leveraging intelligence and digital marketing. So we would like to hear from you, what are the most important pinpoints or the biggest pinpoints from your business? So what I would like to do, spending 1 to 2 minutes, is out of all the 8 pinpoints here listed here, through this polling, I would like to know from every one of you, what are the top 3 pinpoints for you, for your daily business, or from your observations from the markets? Right? So if you can either log in slido.com and input this event code, or you can just simply scan the QR code, and then you'll be redirected into the polling page. And by simply click, and then you can leave your feedback on what are the top 3 pinpoints for your business when you want to grow your sales, your customer bases, or doing digital marketing. So we will just leave 1 minute here so that you have enough time to scan the QR code and let us know your feedback. Because in the rest of this sharing session, we want to make it very relevant to business, to those pinpoints that are selected by you. Okay, I can see the number gradually increase. Appreciate for that. I think it's very helpful, not only for us to hear from you, but also for every one of you to see whether some of the pinpoints that you are seeing in your daily business also has the same priority from someone else. Because looking at all the pinpoints here listed here, I believe every one of us, we experience those pinpoints one way or another. It doesn't matter whether you are from market department, digital department, sales, affinities, or you are from brokers, agencies, or platforms. Okay, we're going to release the polling result in about 30 seconds. Those ones who already complete the polling, appreciate for feedback and patience. So 15 minutes left, 15 seconds left. Okay, time is up. Let's have a look at the result. Well, okay, seems like we have very obvious winners. So let's look at the pinpoints. Poor lead conversion from digital channels. It seems like a lot of us already tried one way or another to work with digital channels, but seems like the conversion result is not good. A second one, limited customer insights generate targeted marketing, which is very true, because you don't want to just throw money on digital acquisitions without knowing your customer clear enough. Lack of marketing automation based on customer activities. Yes, because right now, talking about digital marketing, you probably need to deal with millions of customers in a minute. So it's not even possible for anyone to do that manually. So definitely we need to rely on the marketing automations. So those are the top 3 pinpoints from the audience, but let's just take a quick look at the others. Because equally important, lack of effective ways to cross-sell products to existing customers. True, because a lot of times when we launch a marketing campaign, we hope that by compromising a little bit in the front, we can find opportunities to cross-sell either bigger ticket size or the products that was a better risk portfolio. But obviously we're lacking of effective ways to do. No matching product and customer experience for leads acquired. Yes, so I think right now every function or every department has their own OKRs, and sometimes it's actually fragmented and not connected. Even if sometimes the ways of digital marketing is very effective, but if you don't have the suitable product to convert the customers, you will not be able to achieve your ultimate goal of driving the sales growth. And then no matching, no 360-degree customer image across different business verticals. Yeah, from our observation, a lot of times the marketing team, telemarketing team, customer service, affinities, agents, I think each of those verticals are looking at different profiles, even for the same customers. So it's very important for insurance company if you want to really optimize the lifetime value of the single customers. You need to make sure that all the different departments, when they look at the same customers, they are having a same and holistic view. Too much reliance on the market agency to run campaigns, which yes is still the norm in the market. One of the reasons is there's not enough very friendly tools for the business users or marketing departments to just run and monitor the marketing campaigns themselves. Last but not least, increased customer acquisition cost due to COVID. Yes, across different channels, either it's ecosystem partners or social medias, especially if this is across different insurance companies, because we see a wide range of cost per lead or cost per conversion across different insurance companies and different products. Okay, thank you very much for those who provide your valuable feedback. So let's get into more details why this is happening. Okay, so why we are seeing those pain points, and sometimes I think the goodwill is okay. Let's go, digital, and let's do more digital marketing to engage with our customers in a more personalized way. But still, we're seeing those pain points. I guess fundamentally the reason is there is an obvious gap between what is the customer demanding versus what is the way that insurance products is being pushed to the customers, right? If you look at this, nowadays we're still looking at similar models for insurance distribution, right? Bank and broker, agents, telemarketing, direct. Even though across different insurance companies, the portion, the market share might be different. But even nowadays, we're still looking those as major ways to distribute insurance products. However, there has been significant change, even we're talking about the same model. What changes is the model itself, what is the focus, the data that as an insurer or as a platform you can leverage, as well as the technologies and tools in order to meet the business requirement. Taking banker as an example, nowadays I believe that a lot of banks and insurance companies are executing on digital banker concept. Compared with traditional banker model, what has been changed? So in digital banker, what we are doing or what we're looking at is really how to embed insurance products as well as online to offline and to online model into the banking services to the end users. It's not I have an agent sitting in the branch of the bank and try to convert the customers, because bank already have tremendous data that can be leveraged to understand the customer better. And when bank is offering their services or products to their customers, and insurance can be embedded, right? As well as the services can be consumed by the customers online as well. So the data goes beyond demographics, but more and more transactional data. And the tech, of course, in order to make any of the acquisition and conversion effective, either the bank or the insurance companies, first of all, they need to have a very well-defined data structure, and the insurance company need to have an open insurance architecture so they can break their products and services and flow into the banking services. And agent as well. Previously, most of the agents closed deals by offline sales with their clients, but nowadays we see more and more insurance companies are doing online to offline and to online. Of course, this is a systematic tech building as well as business building. But this starts to show its power during the COVID and post-COVID, because we've seen more and more customers prefer online, offline, and online experience. And of course, the data is becoming more and more transactional and behavioral, and the technology require a lot of intelligence, digital marketing, and open insurance as well. And also for telemarketing. So telemarketing, I think in some of the markets, we already seen a lot of players are doing robot tally plus customer tally or customer service tally, leveraging on the scoring and prediction models, which AI and intelligence will play a very important role. And later on, we will get into more details. But as I said, why that we're seeing the challenges is because even though the model doesn't change it that much, but actually the focus, the data and technology has significantly changed. So let's have a holistic look at the whole life cycle of customer engagement. Because as somebody mentioned, either the customer acquisition cost is too high, or we don't have enough customer insight to provide a personalized marketing campaign experience. So if you look at on the right-hand side, this is a very typical life cycle for a customer. Starting from a new customer, active, purchase, loyal, and inactive, right? So these are the typical stages. And among different stages, the business focus is quite different. For example, for a loyal customer, the focus will be how to cross-sell, right? Or for a new customer, the focus is, okay, how that I can convert this customer through a very effective way so that gradually I can activate and I can cross-sell, right? And even though this diagram looks very familiar, however, what changed is previously you have days or weeks to understand your customers and categorize them into different stages, right? So that you can, do targeting, you can introduce different products. But nowadays, the whole life cycle happens in seconds. When you have a customer coming in from digital channels, and within a second, you need to categorize your customers into different stages based on the data you have, and then match them with something on the left-hand side, which is various approaches to fulfill your business focus. For example, whether you need to use freemium, month endowment, healthy rewards, a self-assessment, one-on-one consultation line, or gamification. Everything will happen in seconds. In the tech world, there's one saying like, even if you are talking about the same topic, but either in a different volume or in a different time frame, then basically you're talking about different topics. This is an overview of end-to-end lead flow in whole life cycle, right? From the leads from ecosystems, social medias, your channel partners, and then to your direct to customer through digital marketing, and then to telemarketing, and then to agents. But overall, the purpose is among different stages. Insurance company need to try the best to convert those leads into policyholders. And it's very important across the whole end-to-end flow, everyone within the same insurance company with the platform need to have the same view of the same customer. So you know what happened in the past and what is the customer profile and what should be done in order to convert. And of course, for different stages, the tech capabilities required to fulfill the business purpose is also. So on the right-hand side, you can see some of the tech capabilities, including intelligent marketing. So in the polling, a lot of people are saying that we are lacking of customer insight. So what intelligent marketing can provide is customer insights, automatic marketing campaigns, and the data analytics, right? And also the intelligence to match the customer with the agents. And then the real-time bidding and the content deployment, especially for some of the markets with big populations, because likely you will face a challenge of you will receive hundreds of thousands bidding requests from social medias like TikTok, like Instagram and Facebook. It's not possible for any human being to do that manually. So you need to set up your strategy and deploy the content and budget automatically through this real-time bidding system. Robocall, telemarketing, tracking platform. This is a very interesting capability because in a lot of markets, people are purchasing products online more and more. However, in order to protect customers' interest, according to some regulations, all the online experience and journey need to be stored and encrypted for future either compliance review, or if there is anything or any dispute happened, we can trace back, okay, what happened? Is that, the insurance company missell, or actually the customers neglect by themselves. Agent training platform to onboard a recruitment into agent online for self-learning and self-assessment, and digital core. As one of the results from the polling, lack of right product to match with the leads acquired online is very important. However, that requires the insurance company to pre-build enough digital product that can be connected in real time with the ecosystems of social medias so that we can optimize the sales target. This is what I call plus and minus. And short-term products were general insurance products we normally do plus, and long-term product or life insurance product we normally do minus. What does it mean? Plus means you really try the best to onboard the customers to become your policyholders for short-term products and general insurance products. So you can see either through gamifications, freemiums, or to provide a one-on-one experience. You try to convert them first and then grow this customer gradually, right? Because general insurance or short-term products covers so many objectives. One way or another, you'll be able to find a product that fit for these customers. However, for life products, even though we're still trying to engage with customers through different ways, but the fundamental goal is to do minus, meaning when you do those gamifications, you try to filter out some of the clients, either that you don't think that's a fit for a company strategy, or that's not fit for a risk portfolio. So that's what we call plus and minus. But what is in common is you really try different approaches in a real time and based on the customer profiles to provide that one-on-one experience. Okay, now I would like to invite my colleague Xing Tian, who is the Chief Data Scientist from ZhongAn Online PNC, to share more details about how that ZhongAn can acquire 500 million customers through online approaches and what is the intelligence on back of it. Xing Tian, please.
Thank you, Yang. This is Xing Tian from Shanghai, and good afternoon, and everyone online. And yeah, in the next couple of slides, I would like to share a little bit more about how ZhongAn makes 500 million customers in 8 years. Actually, next month it will be the 8th anniversary for ZhongAn PNC. Yes, I mean, it is no secret that we rely on social media, especially new social media, to approach and acquire our customers online, because ZhongAn from day one is a company focusing on online insurance. And yeah, the customers are there. I mean, in China, TikTok, I just searched on the internet. I think at the beginning of this year, TikTok has reached 500 million active users every month in China. This is a huge population. And for ZhongAn, we will go to the places where the people and the opportunities are. So we naturally will invest a lot on social network, on new social media, for example, like TikTok. TikTok and Kuaishou, for example, they provide like very short videos, but even in 30 seconds, we can do a lot of content delivery to our potential customers. We could educate them and also promote some products, insurance products to them. And within, I think, 2.5 years, when we started to invest on TikTok, and we really acquired a lot of customers and make impact online for ZhongAn's brand. I think in theory, of course, if you don't consider budget, then you could really acquire a lot of customers through TikTok or Kuaishou. But the key problem is first, how to control the ROI, right? So get the best ROI out of it. And the next is when you acquire a customer in just 30 seconds and you get their contact number, or maybe they just buy a low entry level insurance product, how you can convert and maintain the relationship with the customers. So that's very important. That second part is the inner ecosystem, we call that. So for us, we have APP, Zhong'an Insurance APP, but APP is nowadays not the only operation base for our customers. From last year, we kind of switched a little bit to, let's say, one-on-one consultant service kind of model. So we rely on WeChat, and we found that actually through WeChat, we could have more contact with our customers, because yeah, as you know, insurance is kind of a low frequency activity, but WeChat, basically every Chinese log on WeChat and do some messaging every day. So we would like to go again to the places where the people are. So, and we want to provide them kind of like a very personalized one-on-one service to them. So we will use the enterprise WeChat here in China. Enterprise WeChat meaning a kind of WeChat tools for companies to connect and keep contact with personal users on WeChat. And then we will provide them a very personalized product recommendations and different kind of product strategy to maintain our relationship, and then to do upsell, cross-sell, and all the other service for them. So this is kind of also new, I think, in China, that we are now moving from APP to other kind of operation base where our people are. So this means actually there is a new acquisition flow for our customers. You know, we have like business flow, we have system flow, and the data flow is also important. And it's also not very, let's say, complex or difficult to understand the steps that I listed here. For example, you need to first launch some campaign, then you need to set up some acquisition target. You want to bring more customers, or you want to impact more on your branding, for example. You do a selection on your customer segmentations. You do a hook design, for example, as I listed here. Yang also introduced before that you really need to let the customer to make a decision in less than 30 seconds, and he or she will say, okay, I will do that, and I'm interested in that. So you cannot put too much, let's say, product concept or very high price product there just within, let's say, a short period of time. So you need to design some hooks, and then you want to deploy it onto the marketing, and then you want to do the analysis. The difficult, or I think the challenging part, is that when you design the business process, when you design the system workflow, you need to pay attention, and you really need to understand that you have to put data flow as important as the business flow. So through the processes like hook design, campaign page design, we really have to monitor or kind of record every action, every interaction with the customers. For example, what kind of, for example, like time, like who are the customer, which channels, what content, what video he or she views, and what kind of product he's interested, how much time he stays in the page, which button he or she clicks. So all those information at the beginning of this launch of the campaign, that we actually record and monitor this information in real time or for future analysis. So this is very key to our new customer acquisition flow, the data. And I will later on show you how we utilize those data to kind of have a very good ROI, at the same time also reach a very big scale of our customer base. So next slides, based on those introduction, I will introduce like two use cases, very typical use cases, how we acquire our customers online. And first one, I think is also not new to people. It's MGM. Basically, you kind of send a reward or coupon or some benefits to your potential customers. You ask them to do something, and of course, in return, you will give them some rewards, for example, some coupons or even some, let's say, money benefit. I think this is also not. I think this is not new, but what is important here is, first of all, we cannot just design our campaign as a lucky draw, simply lucky draw, and then ask them to forward or to spread. This is no longer that effective anymore. What we are now doing here in ZhongAn is we design very carefully what kind of activities and steps we ask our potential customers to do. For example, you could first get some, let's say, a reward if you invite your friends. And then you have to do, for example, follow your official account, or our official account, for example. And then you get some reward again. And then we will direct you to view some product page. And you get understand of what service we provide. And then we might ask you to contact our agent, and we want you to leave some contact information to us later on, and we will have our agents contact you. So we have all these kind of steps carefully designed through into this MGM activity. And every step we do, there is a goal. And we will monitor this, and then we will try different combinations, and we will try new things, and then we'll find what is the best combinations or activities for them. So here, the important thing is the efficiency and how fast you can change and try new things. And this typically depends on a very powerful platform capabilities and how you can, let's say, develop your pages very quickly, how you can reuse your components, how you can just make all the process in an automatic way so that you can try in a very fast iteration. The second use case I want to introduce is about the how to create an ecosystem. As I said before, so we need to go to the place where the people are. So we no longer request or require our customers to log into our apps and then do the kind of conversion or do the campaigns. So here instead, we will open our official account, ZhongAn's account, on TikTok, for example. And then we will design carefully a lot of video content every day, every hour with different topics. And then we educate our followers there, and we will do, let's say, conversion there, especially for those people who are new to our company, who are new to our products, and we will go there and we will deliver them, let's say, as I said, videos, live broadcasts, etc., to create to kind of cultivate and educate our customers directly on TikTok, not on our app. Only when they buy something or they have better knowledge of our company, and then we will convert them into our app, for example, for withdrawal, for claim, and for other kind of health services. So this is like the second use case that I want to share, that you need to really go to where the people are. And then with that, I think the next two use cases, I will invite Jan for the introduction. This is kind of use cases from ZAtech and its collaboration with its customers. Jan?
Thanks, Yingtian. Yes. So actually from last year, we start to work with different partners to launch something very interesting. For example, for those who are in Singapore, you probably are very familiar with Snack, which is the first lifestyle insurance program launched by Income, and ZAtech is honored to be the partner. And this is not just as simple as one product, but within Snack separate app, it contains many products such as term life, personal accident, critical illness, or even investment link, starting from this year. The fundamental intention is to really provide a sort of low entry barrier program with different customers, especially those younger ones. Without paying a huge amount upfront premium, you can opt in a program which start to build up your coverages through daily activities, like you're getting a coffee, you order a lunch, you go hiking with your friends, you take steps or running. All of those can be transferred into coverages every day, right? So what we have done is not only we provide the end-to-end tech capability to support this great initiative, but also we offer our marketing solution, which we call Atom, to be back of the snack program. So for different customers, different groups, different profiles, this can offer a very personalized experience from the very beginning of the app landing page to the notifications, the gamifications during different events, festivals, and embedded with different reward programs. So fundamentally, this is really to offer a one-on-one experience based on the understandings of the customer through data. On the next slides, I'll also share some of the very interesting use cases that most of them actually happened this year on TikTok. I believe in this market outside of China, TikTok is something very new for insurance industry or even financial industries. Because when we start to do something on TikTok with our partners, according to TikTok themselves, there haven't been any financial institutions done anything on it from last year. For example, sometime last year, together with Intu's Income for Snack, we've done a hashtag challenges where we invite all the publics to join and co-create the content which is relevant to lifestyle insurance, right? And you can see this is the official page of the hashtag challenge. And within the week, it generated 262,000 impressions. The second one is the campaigns that we run on TikTok in Indonesia market when we launch the mutual health program together with Grab and PFI Life. For this one, we invited several key KOLs in Indonesia market and invite them to create some very innovative content so that we can deploy and then we can optimize the traffic and then drive the opt-in of this program. So this is one of the content produced by this KOL, and on its own, it generates 126,000 conversions and quite decent conversion rate. The third one is the the third one is during the hashtag challenge we run last year, we received more than 3,000 videos created by the TikTok accounts. So you can imagine those are actually customers. And we invite them to create their own content and join this hashtag challenge. Right? And then for the best winners, we will have certain rewards to them. And then last but not least, from this year, we start to do online lead gen for the agents on TikTok, given that it's very difficult for agents to meet offline with their customers, but they need new resources to acquire leads. And TikTok turns out to be very effective because imagine instead of reading or an article of 1,000 words, you can just spend 15 seconds to either understand what is the key personalities and who this agent is, or the product itself. Given that right now the pressure, the pace of the daily work and life is becoming bigger and bigger and faster, people are really preferring an easier way to understand a new product or new services. So these are some of the new use cases and very interesting use cases that we have launched in South Asian markets. Thank you, Xintian. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Yang, for the use cases introduction. So as a data scientist, in the next couple of slides, I would like to share how machine learning models help and kind of boost our kind of online activities with our customers. So at the very beginning, Yang also introduced actually budget matters, right? So you have to really have a very controlled ROI while you are acquiring more and more of your customers. So acquiring customers from social media, for example, like TikTok or Google or Facebook, there are different approaches. I mean, you could hire, let's say, a media agency, and then you ask them, oh, this is my target customer, then please kind of launch some campaigns to them. And another way, kind of more difficult, challenging way, but more effective way is to kind of like doing real-time bidding. So when you open the apps, for example, like TikTok, a lot of things happens before you see the videos, and the media, the TikTok will actually send a request to advertiser, like for example, Zhong'an, and TikTok will bring some information about this particular device or customer, for example, when and where, and what kind of ad slot it will offer. And then in a very short period of time, Zhong'an, using their machine learning model, will decide if I would like to do some impression for this particular device and how much I would pay for that. And this is a new way, the real-time bidding is a new way to for Zhong'an to filter our customers, to bring our knowledge into the bidding process and to make a better ROI through all this process. This is really a combination together with, let's say, data capabilities, your technology capabilities, as well as your model capabilities. So what are the data we have during that short period of time? So the media will send us basically some information, not too much. For example, like time, like where, some LBS information, where, very rough location information, and then also some device ID, for example. And this might not be, let's say, sufficient for algorithm to run, but actually it offers sufficient information really to make a model. So this is kind of like how we do machine learning here. So it's not, we don't want to say that, okay, we need a lot of information, then we can do machine learning training or prediction. Actually, with just limited information, we can do some analysis. For example, using the device ID, we can infer the cell phone brand and type. And we could find actually, for example, like people using iPhone has a highest conversion rate. And using other iPhone, they have different conversion rate. And this is like a very interesting insight from it. And then we could, based on this information, doing some kind of different strategy there. And the second picture below shows, for example, the more you get exposed to our customer, it doesn't really mean that you have, let's say, a better conversion rate. And actually, it looks like this. So if you don't see too much of your, let's say, advertisement, it will not convert. But if you see too many, actually, it's also a waste, right? So this is also provides Zhong'an some insight about our customer and how we can do that. So there are many cases, and we build a lot of models there utilizing this data, and then to have a very good ROI while we are expanding our customer base. And then the second use case about machine learning, I think, is how we do that at our ending page. So ending page is critical, right? So the customer actually gets contacted, and the customer even buys a product from Zhong'an, and so this shows that he is interested in our product, in our company. And at that point of time, just before he or she left, because yeah, after all, you don't find him or her anymore. So it's important that we do a very good upsell and cross-sell there on our ending page. But before, if we don't deploy our model, it will have not very good performance. Basically, we show, let's say, all the same thing to the same customers. This is not a good idea. And then we deploy our models there, and then we will find out, okay, if you are, let's say, young, if you are a family, if you view our web page in a short period of time, or it costs you several minutes or even hours until that you finish our payment, combine your dynamic data and static data, you need to deploy, say, 30 or even more modules and find part of our technology operation. Good performance compared with, let's say, without with the, let's say, strategy that we just show the same thing to all the customer. And the third use case I would like to share is about, let's say, lead matching. Yeah, I think this is also critical for not only like online companies, but also for, let's say, traditional insurance company. So through, let's say, years of experience for Zhong'an, the lesson we learned is that we need to match good customer or high potential customer to our good agents. So this is kind of the biggest lesson that we learned. So we need to do the matching there. Of course, machine learning model plays a very important role. And it's also important that we catch, let's say, more information and more data there. So usually we have, let's say, demographic information, for example, like the insurance premium, gender, age, etc. We also need to consider the behavior information, for example, how many times he or she interacts with us. But the important thing is we also need to utilize the unstructured or semi-structured data, for example, the voices, the textual and visual information. So when people call, when people text, when people meet, we will record all this visual and textual information for our further analysis using our OCR and other technologies, and then we will find out, okay, what is truly interesting for our customer and what's the intent level or score. So we will do using those features, AI features, to do some intention scoring, and basically it's customer segmentation. And for high potential customer, then we will do a strategy that, okay, one strategy that we will put our best agents, and we will do the recommendation how to contact this customer and what's the interaction strategy. For middle level intention scoring customer, then we need to consider the budget, right? So we will do a mixture of AI and people strategy. For example, we will have like one agent to 5 or 10 potential customers, and we will group them into our WeChat system, and then we will deliver some content and utilizing some AI robots there, just to keep, let's say, some frequency and to educate them, but with, let's say, not so many skilled agents on that. And for lower scoring customer, then we will try first using AI outbound calls, and then just to find out who are potential, and then we will kind of do some continuous strategies there. And this is kind of like utilizing the unstructured data, and then with some modeling and with different strategies, and then we could get, let's say, better conversion rate and also control and best utilizing our resources, for example, like agents. So within that, I would like to hand back to Yang for the next introduction. Thank you.
Thanks, Yingtian. It seems like there were some connecting issues, and this is one of the challenges if we want to arrange a webinar with all the guests and audiences from all over the world. But so far, I mean, there has been a lot of information that was shared, a lot of use cases, and it's totally fine to start maybe from one angle or one model of it. But if you want to gain a sustainable and exponential growth, you can realize that this is a systematic capability building up process, right? From the data perspective, from technologies, and from the team. So actually, from last year, we start to offer Atom, the intelligent marketing platform to empower digital marketing for insurance. And this is something that actually we've used and tested out by our own businesses in different markets. So even though that the use cases and approaches might sound very fragmented, also if you want to do that all effectively, that require to have a very well-found data structure. But no worries, I think this is something that Atom can provide as a one-stop solution So from this glance, you can tell that this is the end-to-end closed-loop marketing platform, starting from user acquisition by connecting with either ecosystem partners as well as social medias, data consolidation, and generate user insights by providing different tags. Right now in the system, we already have more than 2,000 tags that are ready to use for insurance industry. And campaign management, as mentioned, if you want to run hundreds of one-on-one marketing campaigns for different customer groups, it cannot be done by human manually. What we provide is you can set up your automatic marketing strategy, and then you can configure your marketing campaigns, the front end, the reward systems, and match it with different customers. And then accurate engagement. As Xingtian mentioned, when you have the customer, you need to match the customers with the right experience as well as the right product. And last but not least, for business users, you can have a real-time view of, okay, for different channels, different products, different social medias, and even different team members, how they are doing in a more quantitative way, so that you know if you're only a limited budget, where you should deploy it, right? So right now, this is quite a mature a platform where we offer free trial access. So if you are interested, or if you think that you might want to try something, and now we offer free trials to whoever are interested. So just contact me or our team members. Okay, I know that we are running over time, but I would thank you for your patience and staying with us. Here, I would like to invite our respected guests, panelists, to join a fireside chat with me. So Yuman Chen from AI Group, and Yuman is the Director of Digital Platform Partnership and has been a great supporter for our partnership with AI Group. And also Max, the Head of Transformation Office of Intuos Income. And we start to collaborate from 2 years ago. And from that on, Max led the team to create a lot of first of its kind products in single market. And right now are working with many ecosystem partners. So welcome, both gentlemen. Hi, good evening, Yuman and Max. I hope you're being well. Yeah, maybe to start with, I mean, both of you have been with, either financial industries or banking industries, especially on the digital front, for quite many years, right? So putting, to provide more context to the audience, maybe we can start with, if you can describe your experience so far of digital insurance in 3 keywords, what will those keywords be? Starting from you, Yuman.
Well, thanks, Young, and appreciate the opportunity actually to be on this panelist. So thank you for that. 3 words, always. Why do I always do 3? I'll use CDE because you use 3 words. So 1, C, challenging. D, disruptive. And I would say E, exciting. And I use those 3 words because they're actually in transformation, digital marketing, how we actually run our business. We're going through a huge industry transformation right now, right? And if you look across Southeast Asia or even Asia Pacific, one study by IDC says that the companies we expect to use or spend close to $375 billion on digital transformation. This is just Asia Pacific, right? And so if you look at where people are spending the money, they are focusing on what you already said, some of these social platforms, right? Some of these consumer platforms, providing people access to be the internet or be able to be online. That's where people are focusing all their time, right, and their efforts. And so when we look at my experience so far, and the reason why I use those words like challenging, is I think even on the survey, as you already said, when we said, how do we get to conversion? How do we look at being able to access broader customer base? How do we engage them differently? That is all the challenges that we're all facing today. Why? Because we need the right tools to do the right job. And I think some of the tools that you mentioned already are actually pretty critical to be able to reach the customers, be able to nurture them, to build the trust to work with companies like ourselves to go after not just insurance, but to be able to have those lifestyle protection products. And that is going to be the key for us to look at over time.
Thanks for that. It's very great to hear about challenging, disrupting, and exciting. And I guess when we talk about challenging and disrupting, it not only we need to face the challenges and disruptions from outside, but we need to also challenge ourselves as a players in this industry. So we will definitely circle back on that, external and internal challenges later on. But Max, what is the experience so far for you? I get an impression whenever I have a chat with you offline, I can always find some new ideas that you are excited about and you want to bring to the market. But overall, for the last 3 years, if you can put that in the 3 simple keywords, what would that be?
Yeah, I think the 3 words that I will put on the table will be people, customer, and data. Right. So definitely people centric. When I'm saying people centric, they are your staff, your team. You got to put together the right team to face, like what Yuman mentioned, the challenges going to be on the table. A lot of these challenges, we might foresee them happening, but no matter how much you foresee them happening, you are never prepared when it actually happens. So you need the right people that's actually on the ground there, actually doing it and solving it. There's a lot of times when we are creating first of its kind products like Snap by Income, motor insurance, usage-based insurance. Being the first of its model, we never know what are the potential potholes that could happen in entirety. So when they do happen, you really need the right people on the ground doing it and solving it at the best pace possible. That means that you don't just need technology people, you need people who actually know products, people who know the customers, and we try to bring all this into a kind of an individual amalgamation into an individual. Within our company, we call them a venture launcher. So everyone with this title as a launcher, they come with product background, they come with technical background, they come with sales and marketing background. So they are kind of an entrepreneur in their own right, which allows them to push products out at very fast speeds. Customer centric, then obviously we all know that we can't build technology without what customers tell us that what needs to be done. So I think listening to them has been the key to everything that we have been doing. And the challenge then comes is that how do you then see through the noise? Because when we ask customers what exactly they would want, we have to kind of read in between the lines, because we're in the financial industry, right? We're not looking at a new direct service that somebody might be used to already. It's like I want the laundry to reach my door earlier without somebody talking to me. Those are things that you can foresee. But then when you talk about financial products, when we take a product that's so directly sold by an agent, directly sold by an individual sharing with you face to face every single part of that product to something entirely digital, where you suddenly feel that you have to make a decision yourself and you could just leave and close the box in 30 seconds, we should be able to create products that customers actually can relate to. And then a lot of times this product become micro, a lot of times this product become modular. But I do not think it's just about micro or modular. I think it's about paying attention to what the customers is telling us at that point in time, which I think a lot of solutions you shared earlier about having the right conversation at the right time is very important, and using the right tools and marketing messages is going to be key. And the third one, data, which brings this all together, is that we are starting to store a lot of data. Insurers have always had this data since ages ago, but we store them in a very different way. We store them more as a post-processing information, and the next time somebody wants to come to buy a product from us, we use it for underwriting. But when we think about data for us now, at least in Snap, is that we are collecting information, for example, the brands that they frequent, the time they frequent those brands. So I kind of know potentially what time this guy potentially is eating breakfast, because he goes to a breakfast-like restaurant at this time. That tells me a lot more about this person's lifestyle, better than any underwriting question. Now, how customer feels about that, we need to get them to understand that this is for their benefit. We want them to feel that we're using it to better understand them, to give them the best products possible, and not penalize them. When it comes to data, a lot of times people get very apprehensive about it. So I think a data journey is still very nascent in all organizations. We are all in the collection stage. We are not at the stage of synthesis yet for most organizations, particularly the financial institutions, and that will be exciting for the next couple of years.
Yeah, thanks for that, Max. I think 2 years ago, when I had a face-to-face meetings with some of your product launchers, actually that was my first time heard about this title. normally, we call product managers, we call, business analysts, but the moment I hear, okay, it's a product manager, literally that means these people need to take end-to-end responsibilities, from designing, from engaging with ecosystems, and even understanding the data and know, what need to be designed and what need to be, done to iterate the product. So actually, just to follow up with that, we always say it doesn't matter in which decade. We always say that we need to understand our customers, right? But playing in the digital world, actually, the size of data you can get, especially through a program like Snack Plus, by working with dozens of different merchants or ecosystem partners, the size of the data you get is quite different from incumbent businesses, right? So especially in the past several months, in Singapore market, we've been through sort of phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 3. What are some of the changes that you have seen from the customers, and how that it prepares yourself accordingly by designing some new value propositions? For example, I know that recently Snack also launched the Invest. Right? You didn't choose to launch Invest from the very beginning, but you choose to launch it right now. So what is the logic behind?
It's a good question. So we've been paying attention to what customers has been telling us that they want to do. Actually, investment product has been kind of a hot favorite for a lot of Snack users since early on, right? So I think the idea that we have when we look at new products that we want to put onto the Snack app, or even not just in the Snack app, inside our Track app, which is a subscription platform, and also the kind of products we want to enter for our motor-based, usage-based insurance like electric vehicles. We look at what the trend of the market is moving towards. For customers directly in COVID, I think during the COVID period, a lot of people were staying home. There's a lot of more financial reading up that's going on. And financial independence, retire early, became a very hot topic, particularly in the younger audience. And those are the people that we are trying to go after, because we want those customers to come to Snack, to see Snack as that first app that they start in order to plan what their financial freedom pathway could look like. It's not the end-to-end and one app for all, because we believe that these customers are supposed to move out of this application to something more holistic, more long-term, with an agent, for example, or with another insurance company, be that may be, right? So I think the way that we want to do that right now is to make sure that when customers tell us that they are looking towards financial independence, retire early, they think about investments, we went straight into it. But when we create our first ILP product, the way that we want to create it is direct, kind of designed for these customers, where every dollar you put into the premium becomes the dollar going into the fund that's going to be invested, whereas the insurance piece becomes almost complementary into that product. We have designed the cost base to create such a unique product, and it's first of its kind in Singapore back when we first launched it, and it's the only kind of a true kind of kind of investment ILP that we wanted to get into the market. And I think that really resonated with our target audience, because that is really what they wanted to get during this period of time. But when we start looking at all the other brands out there in the market, like Foodpanda, Shani, some of the local kind of F&B restaurants, a lot of these restaurants were impacted by COVID because they had no walk-in customers. So we wanted to help drive marketing for them, and they actually came to us say that we could actually give free insurance, free investments to customers that come to our doorstep. And that's how Snack App was created within the Snack application. A lot of these small little increments that we created was all designed around paying attention to what people were telling us and being fast enough in implementing them. From the idea of actually having Snack Up to the time having the first Snack Up customer, that took us less than a month, because the key point is that we've already designed architecture that's so easy to improve based on the Zhongan system, that it's just that quick to implement small little micro modules in order to kind of build out on that platform. So I mean, for now everything's going quite well, and then just need to pay more attention to see what else can be done. From the audience, if there's any ideas, just shoot it across. We'll take a look at it also.
Yeah, thanks, Max. I think when I also want to seek insights from Iman, because AIA is the biggest MNC insurers in this region, and in quite a few markets. I think it's, from last year and this year, you've closed several quite big partnerships, and everybody is getting that you might have a big plan back of it, right? And obviously, you're operating in mature market as well as emerging market. And when you design your digital strategy, especially when you form the partnerships with the partners in different markets, what are some of the similarities as well as some of the differences that you have seen, and how you make sure that you position yourself differently to address those differences and similarities?
I think Max already started by saying what our customers and what do we look at as far as segmentation, right? And so strategically, when you look at partners, you look at partners, one, by looking at how much reach do they have, right? How much can they talk to people? So when you look at exponential growth, and I think we already said it, where are people going? All right, so the partners that you're working with, the partners that you try to engage with, starts with where's everybody? Where are the people going to, right? And so we've struck a number of partnerships across the region for that reach. That's number one. Two, to be able to say what is relevant, right? Because we're not just looking at how do we sell an insurance product right away, because the insurance products that we have may not fit what they need, right? So again, coming back to the customers, understanding on those platform partners, what are the customers? What are those segmentation of the customers? What are their needs? What's top of mind, right? And many times when you look at these products and you're trying to reach them digitally, traditional insurance products are not your products that you will sell digitally, right? Some of these traditional products are a lot more complicated. They require a face-to-face meeting, some more definitions around what it is, what's coverage. That's another cohort of segments where you start, nurturing, and we get to that point is when you have a face-to-face meeting to explain these products. But how do I engage them is not necessarily insurance, right? What are the things that give people peace of mind, right? Can I, we talked a little bit already, what are the freemium products that might get them engaged to understand that protection gap, right? And so when you look at the similarities, besides the partners, look at similarities on emerging and developed markets, it's the protection gap. We know out there today, right? If you look how big the protection gap is across Asia, and even back in 2018, it was somewhere around $183 billion is the big protection gap. We have an opportunity to look at filling that void by offering proper, propositions that make sense, that are valuable to customer. They understand it, they use it, they experience it with us. And if we can actually get to that point, then we can help bridge that protection gap, right? That's a similarity across everybody. When we look at the differences, the problem that I've seen, and this may be just how our experience is, there is tiered access, right? When we talk about different types of insurance, I'm going to talk about health now. When we look about health insurance, tiered access, people that actually have money can have access to the best care. People that don't have money can't afford insurance. They may be left to do what they need to do to survive. But if you can actually bridge that gap by having a proper insurance product that gives them, access to care, right? That is meaningful, that is powerful, and that can be done through insurance. And so all these areas, when we look at similarities and you look at things that we can do as insurers, as an industry, tremendous opportunities, right? But it starts with reach, to be able to get to where the customers are, understand what the customers need, understand what those protection gaps are, and then figure out what are the right propositions that are valuable and meaningful, right? And are also affordable in the sense that, you look at the Indonesian population where there may be a whole bunch of people, this cohort of people that are struggling to figure out, do I pay for food or do I pay for insurance? Obviously, those are not the segments you would go after with insurance, right? But we can actually do something more better and meaningful for those cohorts of people that may be struggling trying to figure out, do I spend money on food or insurance? And so you have to differentiate and be able to figure out what are those customer needs are. And then working with your partners that are out there with the reach to be able to co-create meaningful products that they believe, your partner believe, is going to be valuable to their customer base, right? And that's where we talked a little bit about having the right tools to be able to do these things and be able to design products at pace, to be able to test and learn, to be able to market differently, to be able to communicate the right messages to these customers. And so those are all, I would say, a lot of the puzzles of the jigsaw puzzle we need to figure out and put together.
Yeah, so actually, I know that, and due to me and Xintian, we're running out of time, and actually we start to receive a lot of questions, which is quite relevant. So from now on, I will just mix the questions from some of our, audiences and make it relevant with some of the questions that, we discussed before. So You definitely spot on the right topic, the protection gap, right? That's the similarities across different markets, which is something meaningful, challenging, and exciting at the same time, right? Because also we've seen that when you try to design a product and launch to the market, what you probably need to do is doing the marketing. But this marketing is how to educate, how to raise awareness of the customers towards these protection gaps, because a lot of them might not even know, okay, why I should get this coverage, right? So actually, from the audience, there is also one question, like when we do this, how to transform the digital marketing into automated conversions. Brandon, can you share a little bit more from your experience on that front?
Sure. I'll go first, and then I'll pass it to Max a little bit. When we looking at the protection gap, I always say what is desirable and what is meaningful, and unfortunately that is very hard, because otherwise we would be selling everything. But it starts with being able to get the customer understanding what is the need, what is the gap that they need to fill today, and then with that, is there a hook? Is there a hook where they can try a product that they understand and be able to have some protection to use it to make a claim? We actually want them to make claims. We want them to make claims. We want to pay the claim. We want them to experience that, to say, wow, actually insurance is meaningful. It can protect me. And now that can be a simple micro product, right? Because these are things where it starts off small. It's an affordable piece. You have an experience. The younger generation that's out there today on the TikTok, they would love to be able to experience something where they're buying cosmetics and something broke, and by the way, I could protect you because I have a simple product that was embedded into your journey when you bought something, that all of a sudden becomes meaningful. Now they've experienced it, which then drives them to have yet another view to say, well, next time I travel, why wouldn't I have a travel product? Or next time I go, because I booked a hotel and there's COVID for some reason that I had to cancel. These are top of mind for people now. So that becomes meaningful. And can we get it to be affordable? That's one. Can we get it where it's embedded so there's frictionless journeys to buying products and frictionless journeys to being to do underwriting, right? And so a lot of the insights that we're getting, I'm sure Max already knows through a lot of the work that he gets, tons of data. When you get tons of data, you also get a lot of good insights about a customer's behavior. Why can't we start thinking about, can we do underwriting with one question, 2 questions, or can we do straight through without underwriting? Now that we know a bit more of the risk, now we know the product and we know how much we pay out, can we make that so straight through that it becomes meaningful? It becomes something where the experience is smooth and they see insurance has value.
Yeah, definitely. I think, when we talk about digital marketing or even the customer experience, we're talking about one-on-one, personalized. But I guess this personalized does not only apply to customers, but also apply to different products with different ecosystems. Because that's how that if you have the right product and you need to launch the product in a right way to the right segment through the right partners. So in order to transfer that marketing efforts into automated conversions, everything needs to be connected and everything needs to be seamless and straight through, as you mentioned. And Max, whenever you launch a first of its kind product in the market, I can imagine that you need to spend a lot of effort to shut it out. What is this, right? Why we need this? And normally how do this, how transfer the go to market, launch to the market into conversions eventually?
I think, what you mentioned earlier would be, it's totally true, right? So it's about getting customers to have a semblance of an experience of kind of end-to-end for insurance. Because when you order food, you start to the end, starts from the app to the time the food comes to your doorstep, and that could be half a day. And then you could actually start rating the service. But when you take Grab or you take an Uber, that again happens within a couple of hours. Your experience with that platform, although long, the product experience is rather short. So, but when it comes to insurance, the product experience doesn't close unless you go through the various stages. And even in claims, some products you actually do multi-claims and claims for a longer period of time. So there's a lot of things that we want people to build up confidence when it comes to insurance. So when we talk about using digital marketing for an app like application like Snack, We wanted people to first understand the concept of basically getting insurance given to them in a micro manner first. Then we wanted to make a very seamless manner within the application for them to actually start claiming. So within the application, you can actually click a simple button to then start the claiming process. We streamline the claims process together with our claims operations team to make it one of the shortest that we have ever done within the company, in order to give customers the feeling that their whole experience could be done fast. Now, if the customer themselves do not go through all the incidents, then good for them, because obviously we do not want them to have to claim due to certain negative stuff happening in their lives. But we also want the customers to feel that when they will need to claim, they actually can do so very easily, which is why we create what we call short-term lifestyle products like Droplet. So Droplet was created as a very quick end-to-end experience for customers to experience insurance within a couple of days. So whenever it rains, we will actually help pay the customer 60% of the customers' fare, right? If they were to take Grab in Singapore or Gojek and things like that. When we first launched, there was still Uber in Singapore too, so we covered that. So actually, that kind of experience let people kind of trust the brand, trust their digital products, trust that parametric claims could be done properly and fairly and fast. Again, when we first launched it, I recall a lot of stakeholders within the company and even our partners outside, they were saying like, when it's going monsoon period, everyone's going to start buying your product. Are you afraid? To us, like what Yuman said, we want them to buy, we want them to claim. So we actually felt really happy that sales went up during the monsoon period. And as an insurer, our own risk management framework must come in to make sure everything is well balanced. So today the product still exists. We are going to move that product into the more mature platforms that we have today, including Snap, in order to start building this habitual behavior. So when we talk about digital marketing, we try to tie the message to all these small little nuggets. It's like, try this now and then get this benefit right out here. The last thing was when we wanted to bring people into insurance, the way that we want to go after them is that a lot of these customers that we're getting onto the Snap app, they themselves are not ready to buy insurance yet, if you think about it, because they're younger. And if they really wanted to buy a $500,000 term life policy, they are not going to go to an application. They're going to talk to an agent. A lot of direct live sales have been created to kind of capture that market. But I think as of today, insurance businesses still rely on some advisory, and those advisory come in very handy. So customers that know what they want will automatically find an agent. We don't even need to try to do anything about it, which means naturally the customers that resonate with an application like that were not ready to buy it yet. So the messaging that we put in social media to catch them onto the application is deliberately designed that because you are not ready to buy insurance yet, Snap is for you. Because you are not ready to build up your own insurance portfolio by paying for it yet, Snap is for you, because we have a feature called Snack Up where brands will actually pay for your insurance whenever you shop and engage with those brands. Now, no skin off the customer's back. Customers will feel like this is a no-brainer. Why not I do that? And then that's when they start experiencing that I have $1,000 now of coverage, 5,000, 10,000, and then once they see that number accumulate up to a significant amount, the consideration to say I could double that by myself, it's fair. Maybe I should do that. I think that is where we want to start the conversation of insurance, instead of convincing them to get insurance from day one, because clearly they are not at that mindset yet for whatever reason. Maybe financially they're not ready yet. That's why they need this journey. I think what Yuman mentioned earlier, which resonates very close to heart, is also protection gap. That's why the partners we go after, the segments we go after, and the way we go after marketing those messages is deliberately designed to say $1,000 of critical illness is better than $0. That's a belief we must have, because traditionally you sell minimum maybe 50K of CI coverage, but then now $1,000 we have to believe will matter a lot to somebody who actually couldn't even afford insurance to start with. That could change their life during that period of time, and that was what Snap was able to do. And when we go out there into the social media, on TikTok, we are hitting mass. We're not going after a very specific affluent segment or families with 2-3 kids. We're going a mass crowd, and when we go after a mass crowd, we have to be aware and considerate that we're going to get a lot of customers that do not fall into our traditional segments that we actually go after.
Yeah, actually, you already asked part of the questions from Jocelyn. Actually, this question is specific to you, but I guess you've answered that well. Actually, I'm going to combine the second question from Jocelyn together with one from Geoffrey. For an insurer who just started to do digital marketing, but I think nowadays digital marketing means customer acquisition, because you need to do the marketing all the way down to conversion, right, until they get a sales. So that's what we call digital marketing. So for insurance company who just either started or want to start digital marketing or digital customer acquisition, one of the big challenges actually come from internal, right? Maybe come from your core team, from your agent team, from broker, right? How that you can create the credibility internally and convince those internal stakeholders to make some quick wins. What is your experience? Because I believe no matter how big you are in digital, you always start from something small, right? So can you share your experience? Maybe Yuman, you go first.
Sure. I think those are very valid questions, and look, my experience goes from owning a P&L through to strategy, through to being a CTO, CIO, and things like that, right? So you got so many stakeholders, and in each of those positions, I had very different challenges on being able to sell what we're doing. But first and foremost, right, in this space that we're in today, when we look at digital and digital marketing and being able to do it digitally on the channel, and then be able to lead that to an agent, just like Max said, people are going to need to still have a face-to-face meeting, agents, and so on. But the first and foremost is around being able to understand on the digital marketing piece, right? How do we then get to the people on awareness, right? And that is just test and learn, right? And so when we start going back to our management asking about ROIs and how do we explain this, is this a strategy or not? I'll say the problem is not doing anything. The risk that you have is not doing something, right? And can we digest it in digestible chunks where we're not going to burn an entire budget on something, but if we can test and learn and figure this out and be able to do much more test and learns quickly without the overhead of huge infrastructure and so on and so forth, and that's where people realize that if you're not agile and not nimble, what is test and learn? Test and learn becomes this huge problem because it's so costly. But if we're able to use the new technology nowadays, test and learn is actually very reasonable, right? It's actually the insights you gather on this is tremendous. The value we always never come back to saying, what is that value? And sometimes when you look at a P&L, think about the leads that you get, understanding your customer. And if those leads convert, right? Insurance companies pay for leads, right? And so if you think about it, if you have a hot lead that's going to convert one day, maybe they would pay upwards of $500 for that lead if they were buying it outside. Think about that as if I was able to scale, get to a partner that has really good leads, and I understand the customer that much better. I have a tremendous amount of those leads that are hot, times 500. I'm already paying for itself already, just because I did a bunch of test and learns. I understand what they need. I understand how to do that. Now, writing that business case is not easy. Convincing is going to be quite important. One of the stories I always use is, do you want to be like the Nokia? Right? When everybody's spending $375 billion on digital transformation, boy, we better start figuring out that there's got to be this test and learn mentality. We've got to spend the money on R&D, research, test and learn. Otherwise, we can never be stagnant. We can never be able to say, never do the test and learn and think that we're so massive and big that we'll continue to win every day. That's not going to happen. Look at Nokia, right? And I use that example all the time to say you must do test and learn, and you must be able to do this thing more efficiently.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good reference. I think the good thing nowadays is, we have much more ecosystems who is entering into this area. It doesn't matter whether they are the biggest ones or they're maybe mid-sized and small-sized. More and more are realizing that actually insurance could be a problem solver for them. Not only the one that can bring maybe potential revenue, but the ones that can solve their pain points or their customers' pain points. So that nowadays, for any insurers who want to do the quick test and learn, they can do that, right? They can pick up ecosystem partner or even social media to test and some small concepts. So to Max, it's very interesting because I remember like 1 month or 2 months ago, there was an interview with Andrew, who mentioned that the snack tribe, those first of its kind initiatives launched by Digital Office as well as omni and how to connect, between digital or innovation with sort of the core businesses or agent businesses. Can you elaborate more, like when you start or even now, how you make the connection?
Yeah, I think a lot of the way that we position new businesses is not to be disruptive to the current operations. I guess it's the simplest way of putting it. We want it's disruptive to the business evolution into the future, but it should not be disruptive to today's operations. Because if it's disruptive to today's operations, then we will face. I mean, we all from the insurance industry. This word is the scariest word that anyone can ever hear of, which is channel conflict. Once this word comes out, everyone just sort of freezes, right? Because it doesn't matter which company you're in, because we have an existing setup that we try not to disrupt the existing operations. But without what you might mention, without trying a few new methods, we will never get out of this plateau that we have already seen ourselves in, right? There's an efficiency that already happens with all these channels and all these customers that if we do not try new methods, we will never break out of it. And we're just waiting for the market to reach a saturation point, and then later on it becomes a price war. It has to reach a different segment in order for everyone to actually grow as a business and also reach more customers. So that is always the way I'm positioning, like when we go after new segments. Agents themselves, brokers, they all have a specific segment that they're usually going after. A lot of times I would say this segment and these agents and brokers, they already have a way of acquiring the customers that is efficient. We're not trying to go after those customers, because clearly I can't either. The products that we create digitally were already designed from the get-go to go after customer segments that were that kind of fall into a different space. Now, over time, customers will evolve, and the digital generation will become the key generation into the future. But we are not actually trying to compete against existing channels because of that, because clearly the existing channels themselves may not be ready to actually keep up with what this group of customers actually want. They are going after the same customer group and cross-selling and cross-selling and cross-selling. While they are aware of this growing emerging group, they do not know how to go after this group of customers yet, which is where our position comes in very well. Today, I will convert them, I'll bring them to the brand. The second thing is that I can give very unique data that they themselves probably never ever think about getting. I'll talk about motor usage-based insurance, for example. Traditionally, you sell a motor policy and the guy drives it. You don't know anything about the driver until the guy gets an accident. You actually know where the accident happens. But besides that, you actually know nothing about the customer. So for usage-based insurance, the way that we have created it, we actually know the time of the drive, the weather conditions of the drive, and the distance of the drive, and to some points, the location of the drive. We currently actually use all those information to price dynamically through usage-based insurance for the customer. Now, it might sound scary, but actually all this happens in the background. Income is not actively monitoring these guys, so we're not doing some very targeted ads. We're using it just for pricing. Now, if we were to use those information to better understand, is this customer staying at a specific part of Singapore versus another? Traditionally, we also know that the conversion rates of different parts of the country actually goes up and down over time, right? Because of the younger families moving into a specific area, and they're moving as a group, and that's where you know that they will have kids in the next 2 years. So that's where you want to go after them. So we have information that agents themselves, brokers themselves may not actually have, and that is our positioning to the core business. Is that we give you information that you know is useful, but for you to gather this information is taxing, it's difficult. You might actually have to buy them. You don't have to, because I have them for free, right? So then when you talk about snack, you have the same thing too. The brands that you frequent, I would know that you prefer a type of coffee versus another. Imagine if the agent actually goes to your favorite coffee place to buy the coffee and can't greet you, how that experience totally changed. Yes, we're not doing a private banking experience where you go into a private banking lounge, private banking coffee for you to drink, but that's because we're going after a mass group. Now we can give everyone a true personalized experience by using these data points that our channels know are useful, but they don't have it yet. So I think it's about having this balanced conversation that, yes, I understand that what we are doing could potentially get you kind of worried about what that could mean to your business, but don't worry, actually we are synergizing you, because we are trying to go after the new group continuously, just as you are trying to go after Gen ABC right now. We are going after Gen 1, 2, 3. But over time, when you move to Gen 1, 2, 3, I'm going after Gen 4, 5, 6, because that is what my role is supposed to be, and the transformation role and digital role is supposed to be. We are not going to be stuck in a specific segment anyway. So I think this kind of mature conversations do help set the pace on what transformation and digitalization is supposed to be in a financial institution, or any other institutions for that matter, right? So yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much. I think due to time limit, we probably need to wrap up. But I would like to circle back on what I just shared in the very beginning, the keywords, right? So from the experience perspective, if we can describe it, it's challenging, disrupting, and exciting. So for all the audiences who are experiencing challenging and disruptions, no worry, because that's all the elements that even like big insurers as EAA are experiencing, like Yuman taking different roles I experience. It's definitely a norm, right? And if you want to build up your capabilities towards digital insurance or transformations, you can start from people, you can start from customer and data, right? So that's what the keywords that Max shared in the very beginning. And thank you very much, Yuman and Max, for sharing, and Shintan on the line, and for anyone who spent the past 1.5 hours with us. I apologize that I cannot take all the questions from the audience, but hopefully that you get something that is meaningful for you. And please reach out to either ITC or ZTech or our panelists if you have any further questions. And all the best. Take care and have a good weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.